Hi, welcome to the Garmin Flight Line. We're here today to show you the CNX-80 and MX-20 flight functions and how they operate in the real world. We've put together a couple of flight plans that we think that you'll find useful and informative, so let's get into the airplane and go fly. Today we'll be demonstrating the CNX-80 with a typical installation with an HSI, CDI, and a 3-axis roll steering capable autopilot. This allows the CNX-80 to drive all lateral navigation in a hands-off fashion without the need to reset the CDI course selector, including holding patterns and procedure turns. We only have to manage our vertical profile during the flight. Garmin highly recommends the use of a good autopilot for single pilot IFR operations for pilot workload reduction. Okay, now just to review this real quickly, we've got a very simple flight plan, KSLE to KHIO. We also have an enhancement here. You can see down here it says KLC, KHIO is our only active leg. And also we have a little magenta bar which indicates the active waypoint. And here's one of the things that we can point out is, of course, we have the chart view on this particular MX-20, and at the transition speed it automatically puts up the 10-9 or the airport surface chart, so we can see ourselves actually taxiing along, in this case Bravo taxiway here at Salem, and we're cleared to taxi to runway 16.
Tango Mike's runway 16, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff for 9 Tango Mike.
Seattle Center, King Air 89 Tango Mike heading 130, climbing to 4,000.
Tango Mike, clear direct advance, Moxie 5 arrival.
Copy, clear direct advance for the Moxie 5 arrival for 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, now we've got an arrival we need to insert in the flight plan. Moxie 5, we'll stick in OED, and we're going to execute that now. And now we've been given a direct advance. So I'm going to highlight that, and then I'm going to select Direct To. Let's go through the insertion of the arrival and the Direct To Vance one more time. First we'll select the Procedures page. We verify the destination, KHIO. We have no arrivals and no approaches loaded. We select Arrivals. We have a selection of the arrivals available. We select Moxie 5. And at this point, we'll have a map, and we have to select the highlighted transition. Now in this case, we're going to intercept well into the star. I'm going to select a transition pretty much at random and insert. Now we have an acronym that we use, which is EMRI, which is Edit, Modify, Review, and then Execute. I'm in the modified mode here. I'm going to expand and look at all of the waypoints in the star, verify that that matches with my paper. So I reviewed, I execute, verify, I'm going to select Direct To, highlight Vance, and then select Direct To. And that's all I need to do to insert the arrival and the Direct To Vance. If we look at the flight plan page, we'll see the Direct To at Vance intersection and also the magenta highlight here. Now in this particular case, we're just going to go ahead and auto-sync the CNX-80 and the MX-20 for range. What I've done is I've scaled down below the last manual scaling range, which is 0.25 nautical miles. That's, that automatically gives us an A5, which means that we're automatically synced to the CNX. And that's down here, of course, that's set at 5 nautical as well. We're going to set that at 10 nautical, and we're actually coming up about 3 miles short of the next active waypoint.
November 9 Tango Mike, contact Portland approach 118.1.
18.1 for 9 Tango Mike, good day.
We'll just go to COM, select 18.1, flip-flop it, we're done. Okay, our next course is going to be 346. Now, with autopilot roll steering, of course, the CNX-80 will calculate turn short maneuvers and automatically roll you smoothly from one leg transition to the next.
Tango Mike, descend if you clear direct Newburgh VOR, and descend pilot's discretion, maintain 7,000.
Pilot's discretion at 7,000, direct Newburgh.
Okay, now she's thrown us kind of a loop because now they've taken us off of the star and told us to go direct to the initial approach fix. So we need to select the approach, which would be the GPS Alpha approach, and we're going to pick our transition, which is going to be the Newburgh transition. So we highlight that, enter that. Again, we're going to review that. Here's our approach. Here's the procedure turn, Newburgh, Yohe, Majek, and then on in, and there's the missed approach. Okay, we're going to execute that. Hit direct to, and we want to go direct to Newburgh, and this is the initial approach fix in this particular case. So we hit direct to there. New course is 301. Okay, and as far as our approach is concerned, we're done. Let's go through the insertion of the approach and the direct to Newburgh one more time. In this case, she's going to break us off of the arrival, so we're going to go to the procedures page again. We have the arrival selected, OED Moxie 5. We're going to select approach in this case. And then using the small knob, we've been cleared for the GPS Alpha approach. Using the small knob, I select that. And then I'm going to use the large knob to select the transition. The default is vectors. We've been cleared direct to Newburgh, which is UBG. So I select Newburgh using the small knob, and then I press enter. And again, we do a review. Here's the VOR DME GPS Alpha approach with a procedure turn, Newburgh, Yohe, Majek, and then on through the missed approach. We verify that with paper, execute, verify, and then go direct. Now if we look down here, we have a UBG with an I after it, which is for the initial approach fix, a procedure turn, and then UBG inbound after the procedure turn is complete. We want to go out to the initial approach fix. We highlight UBG with the I, select direct to, and that's it. We're done with the approach, and we shouldn't have to touch the CNX-80 again throughout the entire approach. Okay, now at this point we've done everything that we need to do as far as preparation for the approach. We've selected the GPS Alpha approach. We've gone direct to the Newburgh VOR as the initial approach fix. And you can see the next thing that's on the flight plan is the procedure turn itself. So we're going to take the full procedure and we'll get guidance through the CNX all the way through the entire procedure. Now also we've got the chart loaded on the MX-20, and you can see that on the green bar along the top. It's already picked up on the fact that we're going to do the GPS Alpha approach, and it's pulled that out of the database, and we'll display that when we get in closer. Here we've got the procedure turn shown here with the holding, and we may get stuck in holding over the VOR depending upon what we get for a clearance next. It sounds like we're going to be faced with a delay. We can take a quick look at our what we've got for a flight plan. We've got this set up for the terrain awareness. We've also got our entire procedure turn, inbound course, and the missed approach, which takes us back out to Newburgh VOR. So that's all done, and that's all already programmed into the CNX. We may get stuck with holding, simply because it looks like we've got a couple of other people out here flying along doing the same kind of thing that we're doing. So we may have to throw a holding fix in there real quickly.
Tango Mike, proceed to direct Newburgh and maintain 5,000.
Okay, maintaining 5,000, direct Newburgh for 9 Tango Mike.
We'll just scale this down a little bit, and we can see that we're on top of the plan view now on the MX-20. We've been cleared direct to the initial approach fix and for the full procedure. Although they were initially going to break us off for vectors to the final approach course. If that had happened, what we would do is go down to the procedure page. We have a VTF mode, vectors to final. We could simply select that and enter that, execute it, and that would give us our inbound course active.
9 Tango Mike, we're ready to copy.
Niner Tango Mike, you're cleared to Newburgh, hold south on a 166 radial, maintain 5,000, expect further clearance at 2120.
Hold on the 166 radial and expect further clearance at 2120 for 9 Tango Mike.
Here we've been cleared to hold. He told us to hold on the 166. So we want to put the inbound course in, which would be the reciprocal of that. So we quickly throw the 346 in there, and we're done.
Maintain 4,000 now.
361, we'll maintain 4,000.
Okay, we've got our hold in. We threw that in real quick. We'll maintain 5,000. We got a 346 inbound. And we're going to let roll steering just do the work for us. Let's go through the hold insertion again as we approach the initial approach fix. Holding is done under the direct 2 key. And at this point, all I need to do is highlight the waypoint that I want to hold at. I select the hold function. And the default is always going to be a right-hand turns hold with 1 minute legs, which is a standard turn. The only thing we have to do is verify that we're holding at Newburgh, the correct waypoint, and select the correct inbound course. It's a 166 radial, which is a 346 inbound course. We set 346, select enter, and we're done. We have an indication of a hold direct ahead, and we can see PPAS direct Newburgh with a manual hold. What will happen is that when we enter the hold, roll steering will fly the hold for us, and it'll go into suspend mode in this location. And once we press suspend and unsuspend it, then the CNX-80 will automatically sequence to the next leg, which in this case would be the procedure turn. So when we're cleared to depart holding, we push this button, unsuspend, the CNX-80 will fly the procedure turn for us and complete the approach. There's the course alive, and our right turn now is outbound to a 169 heading. And again, with roll steering, this is all automatic.
07 after this GPS 22 approach, what will you watch?
Portland approach, Cessna 62407.
This actually is kind of an interesting situation because we were given holding instructions here. This is the missed approach hold, and we also have the procedure turn. Those are all in the flight plan.
Change advisory frequency is approved and report missed approach.
And what we can do, depending upon what kind of a clearance we get, is if he gives us a descent and holding, then we'll just activate vectors to final, descend, fly the inbound course, and complete the approach.
Hangar 8 Niner Tango Mike, extend your outbound turn, expect your approach clearance straight in inbound.
Copy, we'll extend outbound and expect clearance inbound, 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, so we're just going to turn back to the left. We'll just go back over here. We normally use heading select for this in the autopilot mode. He's basically going to run us outbound, turn us right back into the inbound course, and slam us into the approach.
Hangar 8 Niner Tango Mike, start a right turn back to Newburgh.
Right turn to Newburgh for 9 Tango Mike.
We'll squeeze this down so we can see where we are.
Option 583, radar service terminated, contact Hillsborough Tower 119.3.
1930, go see 583.
Hangar 8 Niner Tango Mike, you're 9 miles from Newburgh, cross Newburgh at 3000, cleared straight in VOR, correction, cleared straight in GPS, Alpha approach to Hillsborough Airport.
Copy, 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, he did exactly what we thought he was going to do. He's going to slam us right into the approach. We go vectors to final, activate that, and that takes care of our procedure turn and everything else. And we're going to start our descent rather quickly down to 3,000 so that we can get in on the inbound course at the appropriate altitude at the final approach fix. Okay, we're off to tower.
Hillsboro Tower, King Air 89 Tango Mike, Newburgh inbound on the GPS Alpha approach.
Great, Tango Mike, Hillsboro Tower, report 16 me 6 inbound.
Roger, report 16 me inbound on the 9 Tango Mike.
Option Spire 3, contact ground point 7 today. Western 2 Lima Zulu, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, 22 Lima Zulu.
Okay, the next altitude is down to 2,000 feet. We'll go ahead and put the gear down. Go to approach flaps. At this point, all we have to do is let the autopilot do his job, track the inbound course, and we can manage our descent profile. We're good down to 2,000 feet, down to 60 ME, which is a waypoint called Iohi, which is the currently active waypoint. And from that, we have another step down to 700. There in the terminal area, generally 5 nautical miles, and the range works fairly well. Gives you good visibility as to what's going on around you, and situational awareness on the map as well. Okay, we're approaching Iohi, our final approach fix, which is our next step down. At that point, we'll go into suspend mode, and we'll unsuspend it in order to be prepared for the misapproach if that's necessary.
And Hillsboro Tower, King Air 89 Tango Mike, Iohi inbound on the GPS Alpha approach.
Air 89 Tango Mike, thank you. Enter left base, runway 30.
Left base, runway 30, 9 Tango Mike.
King Air 89 Tango Mike, number 2 following a Cessna on right base, cleared to land.
Cleared to land, number 2, looking for traffic, 9 Tango Mike.
Here, 89 Tango Mike, turn left at the taxiway, contact ground point 7, leaving runway.
9 Tango Mike.
Okay, 89 Tango Mike, your routing is Hillsboro, Farmington 3, Newburgh, Victor 500, Boise.
Copy. 9 Tango Mike, clear to Boise via the Farm 3 departure, Newburgh, Victor 500 to Boise, 126.0 on the departure frequency, 1535 in the squawk.
Okay, we've been cleared to Boise via Victor 500 and the Farm 3 departure. Let's go ahead and build that now. We're going to start by building a new flight plan. We'll press New, select KHIO. There we go. That's going to ask us for the destination next. KBOI is our destination. We select Enter again, and that gives us a very simple flight plan that goes from KHIO to KBOI. The first thing we can do here is select KHIO, insert the departure we've been cleared for. We're going to be departing on runway 12. We select that, and that'll pull up all of the departures that are appropriate to that runway. Using the small knob, we can select the Farmington 3 departure. There is only one transition, which is out to Newburgh, over here. And so that's all we need to do. We'll just select Enter, and that'll put the entire procedure into the flight plan for us. Here's the heading of 125 up to 604 feet, and then an intercept on a 210 heading out to Newburgh. At this point, we've got Newburgh highlighted, and we have a choice of either entering a waypoint we want to go direct to, or an airway. We've been cleared to an airway. If we had been cleared direct Boise, we could just simply select waypoint and inserted the Boise VOR waypoint and gone from there. In this case, We'll comply with the clearance, select airway. We have a list of airways that come off of Newburgh. We select more. We select Victor 500. And now we have Newburgh, Victor 500, and then all we have to do is select the waypoint that we're going to get off of the airway on. In this case, it'd be Boise VOR. Small knob again allows us to select this field. There's Boise. We press enter, and that's it. Basically, our entire route of flight is now flight planned for us, all the way from the departure end of the runway to the airway, all the way to Boise. There is a discontinuity between Boise and KBOI, which is the airport waypoint. That's okay. When we get into the terminal area at Boise, then we'll go ahead and add an approach or an arrival as appropriate in what we're cleared for, and then that will clear the discontinuity. We can go ahead and execute this and hit enter to acknowledge, and we're ready to go. We can see that the first waypoint, or the heading of 125 to 604 feet, which is our first instruction in the departure, is highlighted, and that's also in magenta at the bottom. We've got to change to our flight plan now before we even leave. We've got to change in the ATIS. The winds have changed and runway 30 is now active. As you can see, we originally selected runway 12 as that was the active runway. So we need to make a route modification here. And so what we'll do is select the Farmington 3 departure procedure. We'll press edit, and of course up here we see a modify key. So we're going to modify this procedure. In this particular case, we're not going to change procedures. We're still going to depart via the Farmington 3 departure out to Newburgh, but we're going to make a runway change. So the runway field is highlighted. So using the small knob, I'll select runway 30, which is now the active runway. I press enter. We see modified again at the top. I'm going to verify the change, and you can see that the departure instructions have changed now. We now have a heading of 305 to 604 feet, then a heading of 120 out to intercept the Newburgh 166 course. Notice that the pilot nav leg here is on the 120 heading. The unit will automatically go into suspension when it reaches this leg, and then once we get close to course alive on the 166 course, we'll press unsuspend and allow the CNX-80 to fly the airplane out to Newburgh. We're satisfied with the changes. We execute and enter, and we're done.
King Air 89 Tango Mike, clear for takeoff.
9 Tango Mike, clear to go.
Position and hold, northwest departure. 55, go back, base turn, approve your discretion. Base turn, 556.
And airspeed's live, 80 knots.
This is 6 Delta Juliet, the King Air ahead will be departing on a left downwind departure, northwest departure, approved clear for takeoff. 6 Delta Juliet. 55, go back, clear to land.
Positive rate, gear up.
Clear to land, 55. Hillsborough Tower, 5202 Romeo, Bravo, ready to go 30, like a left turn out. This is 02 Romeo, Tower, roger, hold your position for traffic departing. 02 Romeo, home. Hillsborough Tower, Traveler 36 Yankee at Alpha 7 runway.
Okay, there's our runway heading. There's 604 feet. Now we see we've got a 120 heading to intercept. And we also have an enunciation of pilot nav, and we've suspended. That's okay. Here's an example of the terrain awareness function with terrain outside the window of the aircraft versus that displayed on the MX-20. It's an important safety feature in the MX-20. It directly color codes the terrain around you relative to your current altitude. It color codes anything that's red at your present altitude. Yellow is a terrain or an obstacle that's 200 feet within your present altitude. Green is within 2,000 feet, and then black, of course, is greater than 2,000 feet of your present altitude. Garmin recommends that you use this feature for approach awareness for obstacles and terrain, and this can help you avoid a CFIT accident. Now these particular legs, heading legs or whatnot, you can either use heading selector, just hand fly them, and if you happen to have a flight director, of course you can use that as well. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come down here to the suspend key, unsuspend, and that's going to bring our GPS navigation alive. We now have active navigation of the 166 course, which is part of the departure procedure taking us out to Newburgh.
You're in Tango Mike. We're to contact a mile and a half south of Hillsboro. Fly heading 120, join Victor 500 east of Newburgh. Climb and maintain 5,000.
Up to 500, heading at 120 to join Victor 500, 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, now we've been broken off of the departure procedure, and now we're going to be given just a vector to join the airway itself. Now we're actually looking at our airway, and we've got the segment to Canby is active. We're probably going to intercept somewhere downstream of that because we're on a vector. And all we have to do is just use the fly leg function in this particular case, and it's clear we're going to intercept past Canby. So what we'll do is just hit direct 2, hit Glara, and we'll hit fly leg. That'll give us guidance to that next leg in the airway. Okay, from this point, we would just complete the interception. We can go ahead and engage the autopilot. Roll steering will actually fly the intercept for you if you so desire at a 45-degree intercept. Now you can see that we're going to intercept the airway just short of Glara, and at this point, once we intercept, the flight plan will continue to sequence normally.
Traffic is 12 o'clock and 7 miles. Okay, right now to Tango Mike, descend maintain 5,000, turn right heading to 160.
Down to 5 and a right turn heading 160, 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, now we're actually getting a vector back towards our diversion airport. We've decided we need to divert for any one of a number of reasons, precautionary or whatever the reason might be. But we're going to head back towards Salem, and that means we're going to have to change our entire flight plan and flush it, and replace the destination airport with Salem. That's actually pretty easy to do. What we're going to do is use the nearest function, come down here to Salem. There it is. We're going to hit direct 2. We're going to hit destination, and we're going to press enter. And then what this is going to do is it says you want to replace the active with a PPOS direct KSLE, new destination. This is going to give us a one-leg flight plan, and it's going to change our destination for us at the same time. Now we're going to continue to fly the heading we've been assigned, but this allows us to drop in the approach that we've requested.
Tango Mike, maintain 6,000, clear direct to the OK intersection as requested.
Maintain 6 and direct OK for 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, so we got a new altitude. We're approaching that. We've been cleared for, well, we've been given direct to the OK intersection. That's an RNAV GPS 31 approach, and what we're going to do is select vectors and pick the OK transition. This is a standard T type of approach. Enter that, execute, and we want to go back down here to waypoints, and we want to go direct to OK. So we select direct OK. That's it. We're all set, and it's a 189 bearing. Let's review the diversion to the destination, the alternate destination, and the insertion of the new approach. In this case, we've been cleared via heading, but we're going to divert to Salem Airport. In this case, because Salem happens to be nearby, I can either use the nearest function, or I could just take a direct to the KSLE. I'm going to use this as a shortcut method. Scroll down here until I find KSLE, hit direct, and we have the direct, we have the hold, and we have the destination function. The destination function, if I select this, gives me a one-leg flight plan to that new destination. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that by entering yes, and this is going to flush everything that we've got in our current active flight plan. We're on the vector southbound, and we've been cleared direct OK intersection, so we'll go through that process again of inserting that particular approach. We select the procedures page, select approach, verify that KSLE is your active destination, and the first thing that comes up is RNAV GPS runway 31. Note that in version 2 it states that it's an LPV approach, and here is also the GPS WAS selector. We've been cleared direct OK, so using big knob to select a field, small knob to select OKE. We select enter, and this gives us a modified flight plan with the RNAV GPS 31 approach. We execute after we reviewed, select direct, highlight OKE, the initial approach fix, and then direct to. And that's it. At this point, we're done, and we're prepared for the approach. When we get closer, we'll see LPV enunciated in this area, indicating that we have an LPV approach available to us, and we can fly that essentially like an ILS, and we'll show you how that works. Okay, and again, we've selected the RNAV approach. I'm going to verify this real quickly by pressing info.
Tango Mike, pilot's discretion, maintain 5,000.
Pilot's discretion to 5,000 now for 9 Tango Mike.
By selecting info, we've already told the CNX-80 has already informed the MX-20 that we're going to fly the RNAV approach. It's pulled the chart up. We can go through here and review the profile. Here's the minimums. We can review the minimums on this, 570 feet MSL on the LPV approach. There's the profile. And of course all the header information associated with the approach. We're currently on the plan view direct OKE, which is one of the initial approach fixes on this particular approach. Now, one of the other things that's unique about this is that we remove the lateral guidance. In this particular case, is one of the requirements for an LPV approach is to calculate bearing and distance and runway and waypoint at all times. And that's what you'll see in that particular block of information. Again, your primary guidance, of course, is going to be your HSI, your CDI, whatever you have. We've got about 11 miles to go before we hit the initial approach fix.
Here, 9 Tango Mike, maintain 5,000 until OK, cleared for GPS runway 31 approach to Salem Airport.
Copy, maintain 5 until OK and cleared for the approach for 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, now these, the new type of approaches that we see here, this is actually a pretty good example of this. So we're direct into OK, which is the initial approach fix. Then we have, that's essentially a right-hand T back into the final approach course back down over here to Salem. Most of the approaches that are coming out today are now built like this with no procedure turn. And we have a T'd approach in lieu of a procedure turn, which basically feeds you into an initial approach fix either on the north, south, east, or west side. And then with no procedure turn, you join the final approach course, usually with a 90-degree turn inbound. And that's what we're going to be doing today. Okay, we're now approaching our final approach course. Inbound course is 312. That's set for reference. We got a countdown. And here's our turn. At this point, we're now good at 2,100 feet. And now at this point, my glide slope that's generated by GPS is now active. And so we now have essentially a GPS equivalent of an ILS, and we'll be able to fly it exactly like we would an ILS.
119.1 for 9 Tango Mike, good day.
Here's the representation that you would see on a typical CDI. In lieu of an HSI, you can see that we've got GPS enunciated. We're starting to intercept the inbound course, and shortly after that we'll have the glide slope alive and you can track the glide slope as you would the glide slope of an ILS. Now you can see that we have the glide slope alive for the LPV approach. As it descends, we'll just capture it, and again, as far as lateral and vertical steering, you'll just fly this as you would an ILS.
Cessna 6 Delta Lima, runway 16, clear to land. 6 Delta Lima, clear to land. Cessna 444, number 2, traffic's a Cessna on a 2-mile left base.
Salem Tower, King Air 89 Tango Mike inbound on the GPS approach.
King Air 89 Tango Mike, Salem Tower, report Lockheed.
Lockheed for 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, now we have an indication of LPV. We have our runway distance and bearing indicator, and we're in the approach mode, and we're currently flying both the lateral and vertical guidance on the HSI.
Without delay, traffic on final. Cessna 444, traffic short final, runway 16, cleared for stop and go.
Okay, now notice in the upper left-hand corner of the MX-20, there's a thumbnail pop-up of the TAWS information. It only shows obstacles or terrain at or above your current altitude, and you can use that to monitor the area within 5 nautical miles of the aircraft. Okay, 570 feet is the bottom. We're already set up for the missed approach, and our missed approach instruction is basically straight out to Arty intersection. Landing checklists are complete. .100 feet to missed.
Missed approach point.
Okay, there's our decision height. We're going to go around. Power is set. Flaps are up. Positive rate, 0.
Start your missed approach procedure.
Copy, 9 Tango Mike, we're heading out to Arty.
Okay, we've sequenced the missed approach, and we don't have to do anything other than just fly the needle. It'll take us straight out to Arty, and the autopilot will continue to fly the hold.
Contact Seattle Center.
9 Tango Mike, to center.
Air 89 Tango Mike, turn left heading 160.
Left to 160 for now for 9 Tango Mike.
Okay, now we're being given vectors to the ILS runway 31, and we'll go ahead and show you how easy it is to set up the approach that way. Okay, now we're on a downwind vector. We need to clean up our flight plan and put in the new procedure. We're going to do this a little bit differently. You can do it either way. You can either do it through the flight plan page, or you can do it through the procedures page. We've been using the procedures page, but this time we'll just do it via the flight plan page. And again, we have our little acronym for EMRI, which is edit, modify, and review, and execute. So the first thing we're going to do is edit. And we've got the RNAV GPS 3.1 approach selected. And we want to modify that because that's not the appropriate procedure that we're going to fly this time around. We're going to fly the ILS, of course. Now what we're going to do is we've highlighted that. It says modified. We're going to press the modify key, and now we have to select ILS. ILS 3.1 is the only ILS we have available to us at this particular airport, and the default transition is vectors. That's fine, that's what we're going to get. So we're going to go ahead and press enter, and you can now see that the ILS 3.1 is inserted into the flight plan. We review it. There's the hold, there's the missed approach instructions and the inbound course. We execute and press enter. Now, of course, there's going to be a little note here that says we're not supposed to use GPS data. That's acceptable. We just clear that. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here to the procedures mode mode page, and VTF is now available to us as vectors to final mode. VTF mode is available within 30 DME of the arrival airport. So we're going to go ahead and select that.
Citation 8 Lima Sierra, climb and maintain level 190.
And what that does is that it makes the inbound course active. We have the VTF mode active as well, and you can see that. And so we're basically all set. That's all we need to do for the approach.
Number 89er Tango Mike fighting 140.
140 for 9 Tango Mike.
Now in this particular case, the ILS will be a normal standard ILS, and all we have to do is, we've already got our ILS frequency tuned identified. That's done for us here. We'll have to flop the CDI output, and we're currently in GPS mode. And what we'll do is we'll just press that, and that'll switch internally to the VHF receiver, and then we'll pick up the localizer and glide slope as you would normally. One other thing we have to remember on this particular approach, since we're going to be toggling to the VHF receiver for the glide slope localizer, unlike the LPV approach, when we reach the missed approach point, if you have to go missed, you'll have to reach down, remember to press CDI, and then switch back to the GPS mode so that you can reestablish your guidance out to the missed approach point in the holding.
Sure, left heading 040.
Left to 040 now, 9 Tango Mike.
Number 89er Tango Mike, 8 miles from Cherno, fighting 340, maintain 3,200 until established on the localizer. Coach straight in ILS, runway 31 approach to Sailor.
Copy, 9 Tango Mike on a heading of 340 to join the localizer, cleared for the approach and down to 3.2 until joined.
Okay, of course, now using the moving map, we can see approximately where we are relative to the inbound course and the localizer. Localizer's course is coming alive. I'm still on GPS data.
Localizer alive.
And what we'll do is reach down here, press CDI, go to ILS, and we can see the ILS is coming alive as well. And our localizer's captured. Of course, now we see ILS, and we can see the little runway symbol as well over here in the CNX-80. We can scale this out just a tad to 10 miles, get a better look at what we're, look at the approach and the missed approach if necessary.
Salem Tower, King Air 89 Tango Mike inbound on the ILS for a full stop.
King Air 89 Tango Mike, Salem Tower, report Turno, expect to circle east for left down runway 13.
Copy, circle east for 13 for 9 Tango Mike. And 9 Tango Mike is Turno inbound.
King Air 89 Tango Mike, pilot's discretion, circle east, left traffic, runway 13.
Copy, pilot's discretion, circle east for 13, 9 Tango Mike.
500.
Okay, we have the runway in sight. We'll continue inbound on the localizer just a little bit longer and then break it off for our east, circling to the east.
Tango Mike, runway 13, clear to land, wind 140 at 9er.
Copy, 9 Tango Mike, cleared to land.
Okay, turning base, we'll go flap 60. Gear down 3 green. Landing flaps. Landing checklist is complete. Runway is clear. Now, once we land, we'll get the automatic transition back to the airport surface chart.
Cessna 444, make left traffic.
444 is making left traffic.
Carrier 9 Tango Mike, taxi to the factory.
9 Tango Mike, thanks.
And that's it for our flight today. We hope you found it informative and useful and you learned something about the CNX-80 and the MX-20. Feel free to visit our website, and happy and safe flying.
Expert 55 for the Persians. Good morning. Verify your point is 8 is Alpha. State type approach request